Mom-Cheerleader Murder-Suicide-Dad's missing person call, 911 audio from scene released. Audio of a 911 call from a Las Vegas mother-daughter murder-suicide before a cheer competition this month has been released by police, revealing the moment officers responded to their hotel room, as well as the missing person report the girl's father called in. In the audio, obtained by TMZ, the first call to Las Vegas Metropolitan PD comes in from the local fire department, asking for an ambulance response to the Rio Hotel and Resort for two patients at the scene, each suffering a gunshot wound to the head. The caller notes a medication bottle located in the room, with the mother's name on the label. Later, the fire department calls LVMPD back and confirms the incident was a murder-suicide involving mother and a juvenile. A police report shows the girl's father, the mother's ex-husband, had called in for a welfare check for Tanya McGeehan and their daughter, 11-year-old Addie Smith. In this newly released audio, the father, Bradley Smith, is heard reporting his ex-wife and his daughter are missing. Listen to the audio. He says he last spoke to his daughter before they went to Vegas. Bradley is heard telling the police his ex-wife and his daughter, visiting from Utah, had a cheer event scheduled for 9 a.m., but they never showed. As we reported, police believe 38-year-old Tanya shot Addie late Saturday, February 14th, with what appeared to be a suicide note left behind. Tanya and Bradley were awarded joint legal and physical custody of Addie on alternating weeks in 2024 after a lengthy custody battle. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. The first sound anyone heard was not a scream. It was the steady, ordinary ring of a phone connecting to 911. Ma'am, what's your emergency? Silence, except for breath. Ragged, confused. The kind of breathing that belongs to someone who has stumbled into a nightmare and hasn't yet decided it's real. In the weeks before that call was released to the public, she had been known simply as the cheerleader mom. The woman with the megawatt smile under Friday night lights. The one who braided ribbons into ponytails and kept orange slices in a cooler. She posed for pictures with a megaphone in one hand and her daughter in the other. She clapped louder than anyone. The town liked its labels neat, devoted, spirited, reliable. But 911 recordings don't care about reputations. On the tape, her voice sounds smaller than the persona people remember. Not the stadium voice. Not the rally cry. Just a whisper. They're not waking up. The dispatcher asks questions in that calm, practiced cadence meant to anchor the caller to the present. Are they breathing? Is there anyone else in the home? Are you safe? The word safe lingers. By the time the tape was made public, the father had already called earlier that day to report them missing. His voice, too, would circulate online. Strangers would dissect its tremors and pauses as if grief were a code to be cracked. I haven't heard from them, he had said. That's not like her. She always answers. He described her minivan. The cheer bags in the back. The way she never missed pickup. He didn't know that absence can bloom in the span of a single night. The house itself had been ordinary. White siding, basketball hoop over the garage, a chalk drawing fading on the driveway. The kind of house that holds birthday parties and science projects and arguments about curfews. The kind that glows warm at dusk. Neighbors later told reporters they never heard anything unusual. No shouting. No crash. Just the dog barking once. Then nothing. When the police arrived, the flashing lights painted the siding red and blue, turning the house into a stage no one wanted to look at. Officers moved carefully. A stretcher. A sheet. Another sheet. Details would remain sparse, then spill in fragments. Words like domestic incident. Words like self-inflicted. Words that tried to contain the uncontainable. At the high school, lockers turned into shrines overnight. Pom-poms hung from combination locks. Photos were taped crookedly to metal doors. Someone wrote "We love you forever" in silver marker. Grief in a small town doesn't move quietly. It ricochets. It asks impossible questions. It rewrites memories. People replayed their last conversations with her. The casual "see you tomorrow." The text about carpool. The joke about running out of glitter. Had there been a pause too long? A smile too tight? The father stood before microphones days later, eyes red, voice hoarse. He thanked first responders. He asked for privacy. He did not speculate. His grief was raw and unpolished, and the public, hungry for explanation, found it both heartbreaking and unsatisfying. The 911 audio complicated everything. In it, you can hear her pacing, a door creaking, the dispatcher repeating instructions. There is a moment, brief but devastating, when her voice cracks and she says, "I didn't mean," and then stops. The sentence never finishes. Experts would later talk about hidden struggles, about the masks people wear, about the pressure to appear perfect. Articles would list warning signs in bullet points. Hotlines would be shared. Community forums would fill with well-meaning advice. But none of it could rewind time. The cheer squad retired her megaphone at the next game. They left an empty spot in their formation, a gap that felt both symbolic and unbearable. When the music started, their chant faltered. The crowd, usually thunderous, was subdued. The town learned a new vocabulary: trauma-informed, mental health crisis, postvention. And still, late at night, people replayed the tape. Not because they wanted to sensationalize it, but because they were searching for something. A clue, a pivot point, a second where the story could have bent another way. The dispatcher's voice remains steady until the end. "Stay on the line with me," she says. "Stay on the line." It feels, in hindsight, like a plea to more than one person. Stay on the line with someone. With anyone. Long enough for the darkness to pass. The house has since been sold. The chalk drawing on the driveway is gone. A new family's minivan occupies the garage. Children ride bikes past the same basketball hoop. Life, indifferent and persistent, continues. But in quiet moments, at stoplights, in grocery aisles, beneath Friday night stadium lights, people still remember the woman with the bright smile and booming cheer. They remember the father's trembling report. They remember the fragile, human voice on the tape. And they remember how thin the line can be between the life we perform and the battles we hide. If there is anything left in the echo of that call, it is this: behind every confident wave from the sidelines may be a storm no one else can see. And sometimes the bravest act is not cheering the loudest, but whispering the truth before the silence grows too wide.